Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So, it's another day where I have uncle duties. I love my uncle duties, don't get me wrong. You don't see me complaining. But it does mean that, it's an excuse to get a podcast episode delayed until the evening. Right now they're watching Alaska uh, under zero or something like that on National Geo. I say they, Shannon and my wife Rach, otherwise known as Auntie. So, what am I going to talk about today? I could talk about the bags of shit going on in gaming, but I won't. Instead, I'm going to talk about a blog post I put up earlier today. And this is pretty much what I posted about was um, I'm observing New York City's failure to deal with 6 inches of or less, depending on where you are in New York City, of snow. It's like a major foobar. Usually New York City handles snow a lot better than this, but we really fucked up. But it made me think about mundane spells and magic. I mean, in a modern day society, we are very used to technology filling in for a lot of stuff, making life so simple. And if magic was replacing advances in technology, wouldn't you have uses of magic that go beyond just what's needed in adventuring? It's kind of like uh, warfare pushes a lot of technological advancement. It always has. Advancements in medicine, advancements in weaponry, computers, a lot of the stuff has been pushed because of warfare, whether deterrence or actively used. A lot of the stuff is for that. Now, in fantasy gaming, we see spells pretty much used or defined by their use as how they can be used as adventuring, occasionally warfare, but pretty much it's how is this going to be used for adventuring purposes. So I put it out there that I would think that they would be mundane spells, ones that don't necessarily appear in an adventurous spell book, but spells for cleaning, snow removal, uh, food preparation, communication, transportation. Uh, this is stuff that would not necessarily find an obvious use in a dungeon adventure, in a wilderness adventure, something that the rules are going to call for, but may actually be used in the background by NPCs or otherwise. So I threw it out there, and uh, Luke G came back on Facebook and he said, "Well, Magic is too unpredictable." And my response was, "Well, it depends on what you're playing. I can see like a game like DCC where Magic really is unpredictable. Yeah, I wouldn't see it, but Forgotten Realms pretty much it's a setting where you're expecting stuff like that, right? You're expecting the magical light poles and the and Waterdeep and other assorted shit. So why don't you have spells and mundane items that reflect that?" Now, uh, Luke is a player apparently of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Lamentations is a much darker, with a default setting that's much more uh, based on reality. Well, if you can call reality anything in gaming, but based on reality than your normal OSR default fantasy setting. Yeah, I can definitely see that this wouldn't mundane items might not fit in your low fantasy setting, but maybe they will. You know, if you look at token and you say, well, that's really a low fantasy setting. There aren't a lot of magic items out there. You know what? You can be damn well sure that some long-lived elf thought up a magic broom to keep his area clean. So, but yeah, the setting definitely has something on it. Dennis McCarthy plays GURPS, and he said the system has always included mundane magic like Dress Game and Umbrella. And that's awesome stuff. And that really is portable to the LSR. You just got to write it. You know, it really, it's just there. AJ Fritz left a comment on the blog. And again, I only put this up, a couple hours ago. I remember some magic like that in a Palladium fantasy game. Circles and wards, terribly impracticable for adventures, but great for villages or castles. And he's right. But again, these are circles and wards that have more of a mystical impact. I'm talking about stuff, unless it's a ward for a whole town to protect it from bad weather, which it could be. Maybe that works too. I don't know. But I really thought that this is something that should be, looked at. Something that should be maybe not part of the gaming vernacular, but something that certainly could be written upon, expanded. So I'm toying with the idea that maybe I'll start throwing out some mundane magic items, mundane magic spells that still might have. See, just because it's mundane, that's because it is not geared toward adventuring, doesn't mean it won't have a use in adventuring. We do have some spells in AD&D or such like Mend, Light, Unseen Servant. These are spells that you can definitely say have more uses than just adventuring. But Unseen Servant is there to, move your treasure around, maybe across pressure plates so they don't come off. They weren't thought of as, oh yeah, well, we could have some continual light spells that keeps the the tavern lit. Don't have to get that torch smoke in the tavern or the lantern smoke in the tavern. Those are after effects of spells that were thought about for adventuring. What if we turn it on its side and think of spells that aren't necessarily for adventuring, but innovative players could find such uses for it? So, I still want to do the ugly, the bad, and the good, because that's how it's presented in the good, the bad, and the ugly. You find the ugly, the bad, and then the good given to you. I still want to do that as a series of posts on the tavern. But I'd also like to do mundane magic, both casting and items, and see where that goes. I'm ready for Swords and Wizardry because you can use that with Swords and Wizardry Light. You can use that with pretty much any of your OSR games with very little tweaking. So, things to keep me busy. Keeping me busy is good, right? Yeah, I'm all snotty. So I think I failed my saving throw versus Concrud. I'd like to officially blame Gareth Sharka, the man who caught Concrud by not going to a con. And I give him an official fuck you. Far West is certainly going to hit 7 years late and then some. And it's just a fuck job. There is some interesting Ken Whitman stuff that I will try to share on the blog and here on the podcast. Yeah, there's a new, all right. I shouldn't call, I'm not going to call it a scam. There's a new situation going on with the store that Ken bought for no money down, then sold for no money out, but he still works at it and kind of still manages it, and the whole shell game that was fucking going on, allegedly, because I don't want Ken getting all worked up. Well, there's some more. There's more stuff going on. It isn't alleged because Little Miss Hunter, the one that allegedly now owns the store, apparently might have a new shell game going on, maybe, and I'll share that out. But yeah, I'm all fucking snotty. Damn conventions! I kicked it and it came back. Save and throw failed. See, I wasted it going through the TSA. All right, folks. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for giving a shit. There's other, my God, there's so much fucking drama going on in the OSR right now, and in gaming and RPGs in general. And you just trust me, you don't want to fucking know. It's all bullshit. It's all BS. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for stopping by. God bless. Be safe. Roll your dice well, and I will talk with you all tomorrow. Later, folks. Be good. Bye bye.